Thanksgiving. We got the one and only Young Thug on the board. Yay! So real quick, when it comes to Young Thug, I'm gonna be honest, guys. I don't listen to a lot of rap music. I don't listen to Young Thug's music like that. But even for a person like me that doesn't listen to Young Thug or listen to rappers and stuff like that, the fact that I don't listen to him, he has been on my Explore page a number of times on both my Instagram, YouTube, etc. So even in my thread, so I'm like, what's going on with Young Thug, right? So it gives very much so he is making sure that he maintains his fame either every which way. Now there was a situation where Young Thug did perform his concert on the steps of the Fulton County Courthouse. Now this is a turnaround moment for Young Thug because he was facing a 10-year to 15-year sentence at this very location. So what had happened was, if you guys are not familiar with Young Thug and his fame and what he's known for, Young Thug is known to be a mumble rapper, which is a new genre of music for rap for those of you guys that are used to that old school. And so Young Thug, he is definitely a talented artist according to his viewers and his fans. He's very famous. He was in a situation where he was basically in a RICO case. Okay. Now the Metro Atlanta area for the first 10 to 15 years of his sentence is where he was supposed to be. However, in January, Judge Reese Walker or Whittaker, sorry, changed those terms and allowed him to travel outside the area for business. So long as his probation officer approves, this appears to be one of those times. So on Sunday, Young Thug officially announced his first show since the release of the UY Scooty this past Friday. And so around 4 p.m., he hit the stage in his hometown for the first time since coming home from out of jail. Now, Young Thug was locked up. He was in a very, very intense case. And there was also some private phone calls that he was making while he was locked up that got leaked. Y'all go watch that video. I'll try to remember to post that at the end of this one. Anyway, Young Thug is getting very much so. He making sure he maintain his fame, okay? So again, he was at the Fulton County Courthouse this afternoon, or what's the name? The other day. So I'm really excited to see Young Thug maintain his fame, because he is a very interesting individual, and I'm gonna tell you guys why. Because even though he had some conversations that he said privately had got leaked, he kind of stood on what he said, and he feel like he said those same things to these people's face. So whatever it is, what it is, but I'm trying to figure out what's so interesting about him, why his fans like him so much. And because I don't listen to his music, the fact that he can even get my attention, I'm like, okay, let's see what you got going on. White. Okay, Young Thug. Okay, you better do your big one. All right. So let's go ahead and watch a news clip of Young Thug doing his big one at the courthouse. And then you guys tell me what y'all think about this clip here. Okay.
Surprise fans with a concert. It was at the Fulton County Courthouse where he pleaded guilty in the YSL RICO case nearly a year ago. Well, that's hundreds of people that showed up after the rapper told fans on social media about the short notice performance. He says the courthouse changed his life.
And I wanted to do it at this place because this place changed my life for the better, man. You know, this is not the place you want to be on the bad side.
Well, the rapper, whose real name is Jeffrey Williams, took a plea deal in the YSL trial last year. Prosecutors indicted him in 2020.
Okay, now that's one way to do it. Okay, because that again, that is not where you want to be. Okay, Jesus, sorry, y'all. I'm gonna have to go watch that later. Anyway, that's how you do it. That's why I said, okay, Young Thug, because He went out there, he said, you know what, this is not the place you want to be. And you know, they had, now I did tell y'all this on one of my videos. I can't remember which one. There's a video that I had did about there's a agenda that they be trying to get rappers to go and do these things to make it look like it's cool to go to jail, make it look like it's cool to go to prison, to do things to go to prison and be like Young Thug when you grow up. And you don't want to do that. So when he mentioned that in his little surprise performance in front of the courthouse, basically saying, you know, this courthouse changed his life, how whatever he meant by that, and how it's that's not the place that you want to be. I was like, okay, go ahead. You better tell them, because at the end of the day, some of these kids might look at it and be like, I want to be like Young Thug when I grow up. I want to go to jail. And that's the agenda, because the elites make a lot of money making sure that those prisons and those jails are fully seated. Okay. And if you don't know, then go find out. I did make a video about that, but I just can't remember which one it is. And unfortunately, guys, I do have mom brain this morning, so bear with you. Well, now Young Thug also is in the limelight for a number of things, because he is going to perform in Atlanta following the release of the UY Scooty. Okay. So let me know if I'm saying that right. Am I saying that right? Is it Scooty? Also, too, I think one of my nephews really likes Young Thug as a rapper as well. Um, so yeah, so I'm happy that he was able to kind of put some respect on his name, basically saying, you know, at the end of the day, this is not the place you want to be. And so letting the kids know, like, you know what, I'm gonna surprise y'all. Those that come that can make it, then y'all go ahead, slide through. They slid through. He gave them a quick little 1-2. And in front of the courthouse, letting them know, y'all don't want to be behind here. Y'all don't want to be on the bad side of this. I'm telling you, this is not, it's not as fun as it looks, because you know they did put his courthouse on his court hearings on social media, and it looked like a comedy show because Woody was on there. If y'all don't know, go do your research. This was a RICO case, and this man was fighting for his life. Let's keep it real, right? And Woody, he was just like kind of making a mockery of the courthouse, like, yeah, I lied. And it's kind of funny, but it's really not a place you want to be. You don't want to be on the other end of that situation, because behind the scenes, Young Thug did come out a number of times in a lot of his interviews and talked about how basically he was in a situation where it was turning him very bitter, very cold, very bitter, very cold hearted, due to his situation where I think he said he was locked up 20 hours a day or something, like 21 hours a day or something like that. And that can drive a person very crazy. You got to understand, we as individuals, we need to be able to talk to people and see sunlight and stuff like that. And he was in there for a very long time. So again, when he said, you know, this is not the place you want to be, because they try to put it on social media and make it look kind of cool and funny and trust and believe, you do not want to be in that position ever. So do good, stay in school, and be on your P's and Q's. Okay. There is also a situation where Young Thug came out and he did say some very mean things about uh Glorilla. Glorilla. And so Young Thug basically was talking about young Glorilla, and he said that Glorilla was ugly and that kind of mean and cruel verbally towards a number of rappers on those leaked phone calls. Well, anyway, it's the simple fact that she's a black woman, a successful black woman who is in the industry doing her big one. And Glorilla is a very successful rapper who is I think she's pretty. I don't think she's ugly at all. And honestly, I'm the reason why I'm saying is because I've seen gorilla without, and the reason why I'm saying it that way is because it's hard for me to not say gorilla. But anyway, gorilla is very pretty without makeup on, and that's hard for a lot of other people to say, a lot of female rappers to say. You know, I've seen some female rappers without makeup that I would prefer to have makeup on. No shade. And so I think that Glorilla is very pretty, and I think that she has some very beautiful eyes, and I think that she's really pretty. So I think that he was just being bitter and probably a little jealous because he is a rapper and he feel like he probably felt, and this is my me speculating because I haven't watched a lot of the interviews. Um, but I think that Young Thug was probably like throwing a lot of shade to Gorilla and other rappers because the simple fact of he was in there. They was out there living their best life, making music, and he was in there. He couldn't do what he loved to do, which is make music, right? So he was shading everybody else, and he just happened to shade a black woman, and so that was making him kind of look a little some little, little not so good, buddy. You don't want to do that, do you? Yeah. So, there was a situation where Cardi B's album was coming out, and we're going to be doing a video with Cardi B today as well. So you guys stay tuned for that. Well, Cardi B's album dropped and it did real good. Shout out to the Gwell. Her album dropped September 19th. Now, the same day, Young Thug, there was rumors saying that Young Thug's album was going to drop on the 19th. Well, Young Thug said, no, it's not. That's a ladies' day. And so they say that, maybe that's him trying to kind of fix his little situation with, saying all that mean stuff about Gorilla, because who is also a female rapper. So again, the Atlanta rapper, he shut down the rumors that he planned to release this album. I'm reading this off of the Newsbreak review. So, yeah, the Atlanta rapper Young Thug shuts down rumors that he planned to release his album on the same day, which is on the September 19th, as Cardi B. And he went on ahead and said, y'all know I wasn't dropping the Friday. He said, it's Ladies' Day. Do your sugar honey iced tea. Cardi B that he wrote on Twitter. And he said, or now known as X, making it clear that he wants Cardi B to have the full spotlight. Okay, so he wanted Cardi B to do her big one. He was like, you know what, that's Ladies' Day. We ain't on that kind of time. I'm gonna let her do her one too, and then he'll drop his album when at another time. And so at the end of the day, I think that was honorable for him to do as well. Because considering the fact that Cardi B was probably going to, do her big one anyway, she deserves to have the full shine because the simple fact of the matter is we want our women's to have their moment. We want the women's to have the spotlight. Okay. Y'all can do what y'all gonna do, but let the women's have the spotlight. Okay. As a man, that's how it's supposed to be. Men's is supposed to be ladies first. I believe in that. So I was like, okay, Young Thug, now I can see what Mariah see. Because, he might be questionable in terms of his fame. And I feel like y'all be being kind of hard on him. I do. I feel like y'all be kind of, y'all got to be hard on him because he is rough around the edges. But I can see why, when he says stuff like, y'all don't want to be in this courthouse. It's not what you want to do. And then, he said, you know what? Cardi B dropping her album. He like, I'm gonna let you have that. That's gonna be Ladies' Day because Cardi B was gonna drop that album because she been through some things with her divorce. So, for the heartbroken girlies, we needed that full fledged, okay, full blown. Anyway, I was like, okay. So some fans think that this move was also damage control due to the whole gorilla being ugly thing, which made a lot of women feel upset and everything else like that because it was like, Ladies' Day, okay. But y'all know y'all ain't gonna let up on Young Thug. And once somebody don't like a celebrity, they be like, yeah, all right. So y'all comment down below. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that this is a fixer upper with him kind of like being like, oh yeah, Cardi B, you have your shine, I'll come after you? Or do you feel like he was using that moment to make it seem like he was going to drop on the same day and be like, oh no, I don't want to drop on the same day, I want it to be a Ladies' Day? Do you think that was like strategic? Y'all let me know, because y'all know Young Thug is very, very smart. There's also rumors that he had cheated on Mariah the Scientist before he went to jail. So and I done already said this, and I'm gonna say it again. Mariah the Scientist got me wrapped around her pretty little pinky towel. I likes me some Mariah. I likes me some Mariah the Scientist. Okay, Bill Nye the Science Girl, a beautiful woman. I love her music. I think that her songs are really pretty and and I can vibe with her music because she's a lover girl. And I told you guys I love the lover girl. So if somebody broke Mariah's heart, So I can see why the fans is like hard on him, like, you ain't finna be trying to come and do no media, try to fix yourself in the media, talk about Ladies' Day. What was Ladies' Day when you was over there cheating on Mariah? Huh? What was Ladies' Day when you was over there cheating on Mariah? Huh, Thugger? Huh, Thugger? I think that's what the Mariah, the scientist fans is doing. I think that that's what they be doing. Every time he do something, he be trying to, fix his character because he was bitter while he was in jail, right? So they're like, well, what about before you went to jail? Yeah, explain that. Huh? And it's like, let the man try. Okay, let him try. Let's give him a chance. And the only reason being is because if Mariah the Scientist is still with Young Thug, then we want to respect their relationship because you don't know what really be going on behind the scenes. You want to respect people's relationship because you don't know the half. You don't know what they got going on. And if she gonna stick beside him, then we gonna stick beside him. If she gonna stick beside him, then we gonna stick beside him because that's my friend. And at the end of the day, we forgave him. Like, just play. So y'all comment down below. Is they still together? Are we still cool with him, Mariah? Are we gonna work things out? Let me know. If we're not working things out, please let me know so I could give so we can But yeah, they was like basically trying to say that him giving Cardi B, full spotlight during her album release day, which was gonna be his album release day as well, is him kind of being like, trying to fix the little things that he said about Gorilla, and then also the little situation he had when he had allegedly cheated on Mariah the Scientist. Now, if you over there doing Mariah the Scientist wrong, when she leave you, then we leaving you and we gonna be mean to you. But until then, we're gonna support their relationship because Mariah can't do no wrong in my eyes, and I want to respect her relationship. Period. That's my friend. But by showing support for Cardi B, Young Thug may be trying to win back his female fans and shift the attention. Now, all eyes on Cardi B's big return and everything else like that. We're gonna be getting into the video with her. Okay, but y'all comment down below. Do y'all feel like Young Thug is trying to save face by saying that? There's also another thing that I wanted to bring up about our thugger. Okay, our thugger thuggy. Real quick, because I wanted to give you guys a Bible scripture on this video as well, in support to what he said and what people are feeling like he shouldn't have said. So there is also a clip going around when Young Thug, he says that he feels like he's slacking if his wifey needs a therapist. All the girlies like this. What you mean? That's what the girlies is doing, because because the thing is, the Mariah Scientist supporters, they can't stand that man. The Mariah Scientist supporters don't want them together, so all he got to do is breathe, and they be on his head. They like, what you mean by that? She do need a therapist, okay? But let me kind of give you guys a little. I'm gonna read what Newsbreak has wrote about it, and so during the sit down with Pivot podcast. Let me know if I'm saying that right. I don't know. Young Thugger, he gives one hell of a sound bite regarding mental health of any woman who is in his life. First of all, real quick before we get all jokes aside, really quick, because I'm one of those women who deal with the pressure of maintaining my mental health as a single mother, as a black woman, a successful black woman, as an educated black woman. Sometimes we can be deemed as, the angry black woman. And it is. Because I mean, why do we have to sit up and not be put up as trophies? I want to sit. I want to be decoration. And so when I'm not being decoration, I just can't stand it. I don't want to live here. It's ghetto. Okay. And it's a number of reasons why mental health is very important. So when he said it, I felt like it was kind of some people kind of felt like that was very insensitive of him to say that, especially considering the fact that he has had some cheating allegations sent against him that make a woman need therapy. So I want to let you guys know that, speaking of cheating allegations and things like that, because y'all know, Mariah the Scientist supporters, they cannot stand no Young Thug, and the fact that he done did all this and all this stuff came out or whatever, and if she's still dealing with him, then we still dealing with him, period. But what I do want to say is, when it comes to mental health, it's a real thing, so people shouldn't just be throwing We don't need a therapist, this and that. But I just want to let you guys know, culturally speaking, a lot of Black people, they really disregard therapy. They feel like therapy is useless, or they kind of just like kind of be like, "I don't need no therapy, child. You just need to take a day off, or you don't need no therapy, child. You just need to go to church or something like that." And a lot of Black people, culturally speaking, from my experience, and comment down below if you know what I mean. If you know, you know, who are basically in all reality, y'all, they don't be thinking that therapy and going to see counseling and all that, they don't be thinking that you really need all that stuff. That they think it's a waste of money. Okay, a lot of them. So he probably comes from that cultural background as well. So not too much on him. And I hope that I don't think that I'm just defending like that, but I'm just, I'm just saying. And then another thing is he was basically saying that he believes that he's not doing his job as a man and a provider if his wifey needs to go to therapy. And he said, and I quote, "I feel like I'm not a man if my girl go get a therapist." He might feel that way because simple fact of he might feel that way because simple fact of the matter is, as a man, you're supposed to be the protector and the provider. Not just the physical protecting, but you need to be protecting her mental health, her spiritual health, all of the above. So if she feel like she need to go to see a therapist, then maybe he did feel as a man, because why she don't feel mentally protected by him? Seriously, what is you doing that made her feel like she need to go see a therapist, and is it your fault? Are those cheating allegations real? Hmm, Thugger. Because all the things that you said about Gray, Rilla, what else you be saying? You know what I'm saying? Because he was coming from a place of experience where he feel like, dang, if I hurt her that bad to the point to where she need therapy now, I failed severely. You get what I'm saying? From my understanding. But before that comment was said, there was someone who raised a lot of eyebrows, or he said something that raised a lot of eyebrows and had fans online telling his girlfriend, Mariah the Scientist, to run. Girl, get away from him. That's what they saying. Girl, you don't need him. That's what they said. And he said here, he was like, "I was just telling my girl, I don't think you need a therapist. I don't think I need a therapist. I don't think we all need no therapist. We Black. We don't need no therapist." So basically, he's saying if his girl feels comfortable pouring her feelings to a stranger over him, he's not doing his job as a man. I feel like it's hand in hand, and I'm gonna give you guys some biblical advice about how I feel about it and why. But I feel like it's a hand in hand. If you are my man, so-called supposed to be my man, if you so-called supposed to be my honey bunches of oats, and you supposed to be putting a ring on his finger soon one day, and I'm giving you, sharing you my body, and we sharing this riches and fame and life and all of these things and I uplift you and I make you him, because without me you wouldn't be you, because I'm the one that's supplying you with the energy that you need. Because why? My energy is everything right now. And I got to go see a therapist because of something that you did, or because of something that I don't feel comfortable enough to talk to you about, then what are we here for? What are you here for? We don't need you here. But therapy is not always just about what's going on in a relationship. Therapy is really about some things that you need to begin see an actual doctor for things that happened way before the relationship, or things that conjured up things during the relationship. Some people be in codependent relationships and they realize, oh, they got mommy daddy issues, and they figure out what the mommy daddy issues are. And then they're able to make sure that they don't project those kind of traumas on their own children and things like that. Therapy is not just about you going and just telling people your business. Therapy is about trying to figure out things of yourself by an actual physician that specializes in this kind of health, because mental health is actual a thing. Just like I made the video about heartbreak, right? Heartbreak is a real thing, and when you go through a heartbreak, your brain mimics a heart attack. Okay, so mental health is a real thing. It's like it's just like getting hit by a car. Wrecking ball. You get hit hard when when some type of trauma happens. If somebody in your family pass away, or your boyfriend break your heart, or your girlfriend cheat on you, or whatever the case may be, mental health is a real thing, and it's like a physical pain, but it's just all up here, which is the worst pain in the world. Because at least the physical pain, you could go and get a sling or get stitches, or heal the wound, go through some like physical therapy. But mental therapy is very important as well, and it's a lot more of a difficult treatment plan than the average wound. So in a sense, if he's talking about he feels like someone that his girl feels more comfortable about pouring her feelings to a stranger than him, and he's probably referring to the problems within the relationship, not the problems within her overall life, her overall past, her overall inner self, her inner, and that all he ever did was talk about people, and he, all this and the third. But there are some people who are like, you know what, they like him for his music, and the more he talks, less people like him because he comes off as he don't know how to communicate his words. And you guys got to understand, when I was watching some of the, and I'm not trying to defend him, but I'm just saying from what from his perspective, from my understanding, right? Because some people, they come off as like condescending or arrogant, or they come off as careless and stuff like that, but it be coming from a place of genuine. So I was watching his interview where he was like, he used to think of himself as somebody that was um a good person. He was like, I thought, I used to think I was a happy person. I used to think I was this and that. But then when he heard those calls, he was like, dang, I done got bitter or whatever. Dang, what happened to me? I was just dark, cold. And he was like, well, looking back on it, I was locked up in one cell, an 8 by 10 cell for 21 hours a day. I was in this, that, and that situation. Only person I could talk to was my girl, whoever was answering the phone. I had all of these other things going on mentally. So, out of all people, you would think that he would be open to therapy. But culturally speaking, for a lot of Black families and a lot of Black people, they be disregarding mental health like as if it's not as severe as anything else health wise. Mental health is just as much of a disease as cancer if you go with it untreated for a long time, depending on your circumstance, right? So, and that's just a fact. So I kind of understand what he means by, he feel like he fails as a man, because he's probably referring to his girlfriend pouring to a stranger about their relationship problems over him, being like, well, I should be your therapy, I should be all that you need. But unfortunately, that's just not how it works. We need all of the above. We need each other. We need God. We need therapy sometimes. And then therapy doesn't have to be long term. You can go and get therapy for do like a 30-day supply of therapy or whatever the case may be. It might not be a long term thing or for everything, but in certain circumstances, people do need therapy, because simple fact, especially with Young Thug, he just got out of jail. He said he was locked up for 21 hours a day and stuff like that, probably because he was famous and stuff. He probably had to be isolated as well for his safety. That does a lot on people's mental health. So not too much on him, because he probably don't even really, he just got out, right? So he probably is really still trying to figure out how to be social and all of that all over again as well. So y'all kind of, be easy on him. At the end of the day, he is a human, and we are not here to judge. And Mariah, if we are, let y'all comment down below. Mariah, if we done with him, let us know, so we could be done with him, and we could go start looking for us a new um, you know, Booski. Now, I want to show you guys this verse. We're going to be heading into the book of Proverbs. We're going to start in chapter 11. The biblical advice about therapy and counseling. Now, book of Proverbs, if you guys don't know, if you haven't been coming to the Bible tea parties, that's okay. You need to come read your Bible. That's what we do here primarily. The book of Proverbs is written by majority of them, I think, if not all of them, King Solomon. Now, King Solomon is the wisest man that ever lived on earth to this day. What had happened was King Solomon went and he made thousands and thousands of sacrifices to the HPGOD at one of the most holiest temples that existed in these times, in the ancient times. And so God came to Solomon and he was like, yo, you gave me a lot of sacrifices. What you need? And so Solomon was like, well, I don't, you done made me king, and I'm king, because he King David's son. It's hard to meet King David's heart, because King David was like one of the most sweetest, it was the sweetest men to ever live, on top of, Job and them, right? So I feel like it's Noah and King David. It's like Noah, Job, King David. It's like, it's hard to maintain that. So he was like, give me wisdom so that way I don't fail you when it comes to taking care of your people, because God don't play about the Israelites. And so God said, okay, let's see what you did there. Not only am I going to give you wisdom, I'll make you super, super wealthy, super, super rich, and everybody in your bloodline, as long as you follow my commands, will be royal. So he made King Solomon the wisest man. So this is some very wise biblical advice. So any of you guys questioning therapy that are Christian, and you come up with that kind of background, this is what the wisest man has to say about counseling and therapy, okay? So again, that is going to be Proverbs chapter 11, verse 14. For lack of guidance, a nation falls, but victory is won through many advisors. Okay. I want to take you guys to Proverbs. So again, these verses let you know these are very wise tales. Okay. So you got to get into it. You're welcome. These are wise tales, so go ahead and write those verses down and then go meditate on the word. However you meditate on the word is up to you. Me personally, I literally allow the Holy Spirit to give me discernment on the key words in the verse, and then I go into a deep dive on those words in the verse, and or I literally like lay down, meditate on the word, go to sleep on it. And sometimes HPGOD come to you and dream, and then you be like, uh-oh, this just got real. Okay. But in other words, those two verses that we read. So again, Proverbs 11, verse 14, and Proverbs 27, verse 17. That goes into detail about basically seeking advice, getting advice, being sharpened by a person that's already sharp in this department. So, for example, Proverbs 11, chapter 14 is about is wise to seek advice, meaning if you are in a situation and you are feeling some type of way about something that you're not comfortable with something, or you're needing counsel, then you would want to get advice from an advisor. In our modern day terms is counselors or therapists or psychologists or whatever the case may be, however it resonates. But getting advice from an advisor is the best thing that you can do, especially if you are in a successful career and you don't want to mess up your bread and butter. You also don't want to mess up your legacy for your loved ones. You also don't want to pour trauma onto anyone else that you love dearly, because that's how you end that cycle. You want to break generational curses by seeking advice. Another thing is Proverbs 27, verse 17 is iron sharpens iron. So again, yeah, you might be just as smart in one situation. However, there might be someone that's a little bit more up to speed or experience in that department, and going to that individual saying, hey, I have this situation. I tend to attract this person in my life all the time. I'm trying to figure out, why does that keep happening to me? And then they're going to tell you it's because you technically have mommy issues, daddy issues, whatever. And what happens with these kind of individuals is you got to fix your upper addiction, right? You like people that you got to fix up, for example, because, I pretend to be like a therapist every now and again. Yeah. Anyway, you never know. So it will make you sharp enough to make sure that you're not pouring trauma into your relationship, pouring trauma into this, and the third. So yeah, pouring into your man is great, but pouring into a professional is even better. So yes, you can pour into your man. That doesn't make him a failure, because he has to go. You have to go and pour into yourself into a therapist about certain things. And just because this is a stranger doesn't mean that they are not qualified to give advice on a certain subject, because of that's their expertise. They went to college for years and years and years to study this one particular mental health or mental situation, whatever. So, for example, it's like this: one surgeon can give advice to another surgeon about how to change someone's heart or whatever, to do a transplant. You get what I'm saying? One surgeon can give another surgeon advice on that, and another surgeon can give another surgeon advice on something when it comes to doing some type of surgery with the procedure, on what works best and what was taught. right? So for a heavier patient, it might be better for this procedure to take place at this time for these reasons compared to a more skinnier patient, for example. And that's the same thing with therapy. It's like, yeah, one person who might have mommy issues might need therapy once or twice a week, but someone who has mommy and daddy issues and abuse, trauma, or whatever the case may be, might need to see therapy once a week, once a day, whatever the case may be, on a regular basis. It depends on however it works. You get what I'm saying? So again, you never know. But according to the book of Proverbs, that's the wisest thing to do, especially if you are trying to be a successful person in the department of leadership, in the department of riches and wealth. And because these individuals are in the limelight, they are famous and they are wealthy, it is wise for them to get therapy, in my opinion, and according to the word, because you don't want anything to slip through the cracks, because the devil's a crackhead. Okay. It's your girl, Cassie King, and I am out. And I'll be right back.